Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. And this is another beginner's sewing machine tip. And I'm going to be going over the blind hem stitch. And this is used on clothing such as blouses, pants, skirts, and dresses. Okay, let's get started. This is a circle skirt and it's made out of cotton fabric. And on this one I chose to do a really simple hem. And here it is. All I did was take the raw edge of the skirt, the bottom edge, ran it through a serger machine which bound the raw edges. Then I folded it over and pressed and used a twin needle to stitch it down. Now on this one you see the stitching. It can be very decorative if done correctly. Let's look at another skirt. This is a gathered skirt and the hem on this is done the same way. Using a serger, pressing and folding the edge over, and then using a twin needle. The twin needle, like I said, gives it a little bit of a decorative stitch pattern on it. Another way of doing the hem, which is really simple, is to take your bottom edge and fold it over twice, press, and then just do a single line of stitching. On this gathered skirt is where I have the blind hem. So you can't really see any stitching. If you look really, really close, you might see tiny little stitches. When you're doing the blind hem stitch, you want to make sure you use matching thread. So this is what it looks like on the outside. You can't really see anything. And then here on the inside, you see stitching, but it really blends in and it doesn't show through to the front. There is a specific way in which you need to fold the bottom edge of your clothing piece, whether it's a skirt or a dress or a blouse. You would fold the lower edge over about a ½ inch and press. And I want you to press it with your iron. Using your iron is a very important step in sewing. It will help your stitches to come out much neater. So a ½ inch fold first, then depending on the look you're going for, you could fold it over an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches. It depends on what you want to do. So I folded mine over about an inch and a half. And again, press it. Now turn it over to the front where the pretty side of your fabric is. And you're going to fold it back anywhere from 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch. I'm somewhere in the middle between the 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch, and you want to fold it back. And then you would place pins to hold the fabric. It's very important that your fabric does not shift while you're sewing, and so those pins are going to help stabilize the fabric layers. On your sewing machine, you probably have 2 blind hem stitches. One is for non-stretch or woven fabrics. The other is for stretch knits. I'm going to be going over the stitch that is for non-stretch fabrics. And this is what happens. This is the hem fold section. And then here is where the machine will do a series of 3 or 4 straight stitches. Then it will do a slight zigzag stitch. It will come over, grab this hem fold section, and come back, and then stitch again. Pop over and grab a piece, and come back. The presser foot for the blind hem stitch will look different from machine to machine. All brands have their own. I have 2 different brand machines, a Viking and a Baby Lock, and their presser feet don't look anything alike for the blind hem stitch. So you want to make sure you check your user's manual to see which one of your presser feet is for the blind hem stitch. So I'm going to turn this one over. This is for my Baby Lock, and you'll notice underneath there's this little blade or piece that comes out. That little piece comes up against the hem fold line. It's going to sit on the right side, right up against. And so what happens when you're stitching is that on the right hand side of the presser foot, it will do the straight stitch, and then it will jump over to the left hand side and grab the hem fold, and then repeat it all the way down. You'll go to one of your utility menus to select the blind hem stitch. This is the one that I'm going to be using right here. This is the one that is for non-stretch fabrics. Here is the one for stretch knits. I won't be demonstrating this today. I will in a future tutorial. So this is the one. I have that pressed. It's telling you what presser foot to use, which is the R foot. And then here is the picture of the stitch itself. If you need to change the width and the length of your stitch, for instance, if your stitch is catching too much of the fabric on your left side, this is where you would adjust that stitch width, is right in here. So always do a test stitch to determine which width you want to use. So I have my fabric placed underneath here. Here is that little bar under the presser foot. Remember, you're placing it on the right hand side of the hem fold. So you want to go ahead and begin stitching. And again, make sure you do a test stitch on some scrap fabric. Now, as you're sewing, as the fabric comes out of the back, you want to place one hand back there to guide it straight out. Use your other hand in the front to guide it straight in. This way, your fabric will not shift and your stitches will come out more evenly. So here's what my fabric sample looks like after I did the stitching. Now I used dark thread so that you can see it. So here's where it did the straight stitch, and then over here it did the little zigzag. So when you unfold it and you press, you can, because I'm using black thread, you can see the stitches a little bit. Now here's a sample in which I used matching thread. I'm going to turn it over, and here's the stitch line, and you can barely see the stitching. Well, I hope this tutorial was helpful to you and that you go ahead and try this. Now remember, always practice it first before you actually do it on your garment. Take some scrap fabric and play around with your stitches, the stitch width and the stitch length, to make sure that it's going to be ready when you actually do it on the garment. If you're interested in other beginner sewing machine tips, there will be a playlist listed below your YouTube screen, and you will find all types of good tutorials on how to use your sewing machine. I'll also have other links to various clothing projects so you can learn more about making your clothing. Now don't forget to follow me on Instagram and make sure you check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.